put a squash on these. The first one is the veteran discount. When it comes to hospitality, there really is no such thing as a veteran or military discount. Let me tell you why. Um, GSA rates are public information. You can have a hotel that it's $200 a night normally, but they know that the government's going to give you 250 in lodging and then an extra 60 in meals and incidentals. So what that hotel is going to do, if you tell them you want a military rate, they're going to charge you 270 because they know that the government is giving you that money to spend on your trip. And if they include breakfast, they know that that's money you don't have to spend on breakfast. So they actually, hotels will actually raise their rates because they know that you are on government orders or something like that. I can give you a real life example on this. I was working on group bookings for stuff that's going on in the Rio Grande Valley for the government. Once I told the hotels it was a government contract because they can't add taxes and fees to the government contracts. Well, what I found is that I could find their rate on Expedia. It was this, but what they were wanting to be paid was 20% more than that. So uh, looking for the veteran discount is not always the best deal. One of the exceptions I have found to this are casinos. As a veteran myself, we know that vets are not the best at managing our money. And a casino will say, oh, yeah, come on in. We'll let you stay here. We'll give you a discount on the room because they know you're going to go in and you're going to blow hundreds and thousands of dollars in the casino. That's where you're going to get a good deal on a hotel room. The next myth is the last minute deal. It's a fact and it's also fiction. Sometimes there are the last minute deals. Hotels, cruises, they do not like to have vacancies, so they will run a flash sale to get these rooms booked. Problem is, you are running a risk if you're waiting for that last minute sale to get into because you want to get into this hotel real cheap. You're running a risk of it being completely full, and then you don't get to do it at all. It's going to lead me to one of my other myths here in a minute, but if you're waiting for that last minute deal, you might not end up being able to do the vacation that you wanted or that you had saved up for. Travel advisors and cruises. When you go look at a cruise, you're like, hey, I saw this is the price online. What can you do for me? I can do the exact same thing. We do not have, at least currently, we do not have rates that are typically less than what you're going to find on a cruise line. The exception being if somebody had created a group for when the pricing was cheaper and the pricing has now gone up. Those are the ones where we can find it cheaper. But where we come into play for you is we go back to earlier when I was talking about how do we save you time. The commission for a travel advisor or travel agent is baked into the fare that you're paying with a cruise line. So you think about it. If you have a 7-day cruise and for your balcony, it's $4,500 total for 2 people. If you book it direct, you're going to pay $4,500. If you book it through me, you're going to pay $4,500. The difference is if you book it directly with the cruise line and you have to call them about some issue, you now have to wait on hold. You now have to watch the prices to see if there's a price drop and then wait on hold to see if they'll drop the price for you. So you pay the same price, but you end up with an advocate. You end up with an agent who is monitoring all of this for you and saving you time and potentially even saving you money. But it's not as if I'm going to come in and I'm automatically going to have a lower price than what you're finding directly online. Travel advisors are more expensive. There's another myth. I've already shown you multiple ways that I am not more expensive. And ultimately, when it comes to planning your trip, I'm going to save you money. I will even take where you have a tour planned by a tour company. So say you're doing 10 days through the British Isles and they have it for you at this price. It's $4,500 a person. We'll stick with the $4,500. Well, I'm able to take that and I'm saying, all right, $4,500, I can get you in this tour. This tour is private, get your transfers included. I can put you in 4-star or 5-star hotels, because when you do these tours, they're not going to stick you in good hotels. They're going to stick you where they can make the most money off of you paying this flat rate in these hotels. But I'm not going to do that. So you know what? In the end, you might spend $5,000 instead of 4,500. But what I've done is I've given you a private experience with more luxury in your hotels, so that you have a more to enjoy on your trip. Um, Other people think that when they use a travel advisor, that they are surrendering control of their trip. Not true. You can be involved as much or as little as you would like in the planning of your trip. All I ask is that when you tell me where you want to go and what your budget is, you let me find the hotels. Once we get the hotels nailed down and booked, then let's start working on the itinerary. Um, if we're wasting time on finding a hotel and everything else, you're wasting your time and you're wasting my time. And as I've said, while my services are free, my time is still valued. So I would like to be able to get that locked down, and then we can go through all the details of, you know, rubbing out all the rough edges of your trip. Uh, Another myth is that all inclusives are the best value, and it's not necessarily the case. Um, I have seen recently resorts that are not all inclusive, but they have an all inclusive package. And when I add that package, it adds $1,500 a person for the trip. So you need to ask yourself, are you going to drink $1,500 in alcohol? Are you going to eat $1,500 worth of food on this trip? So if you were to look at, can I go to a luxury resort where my every need is taken care of before I even have to ask, but I have to pay for my meals and I have to pay for my drinks, and it's going to cost you a little bit more than if you went to an all inclusive. Which one are you going to pick? The other thing, when you go to these true luxury properties that are not all inclusive, you have a much more chill experience. You're not dealing with all the loud, boisterous party vibe that you're going to see in some of these all inclusives. And this is once again where you come to me, because I'm going to show you how you can actually save money versus some of these all inclusives. Certain places are safe, um, but the thing is, or they're not safe, but it's not the ones you think. I know that a lot of people are leery about going to the Middle East. And I will tell you, that's probably one of the places that I've never felt safer. Never looked over my shoulder walking down the street. Um, Say the most dangerous thing is the driving. And one of the things that I kind of live by is I would never send my client to someplace I wouldn't send my wife or kids. And I would send my kids to Saudi Arabia before I sent them to Chicago. It's a matter of fact. Um, so there is this misconception of what is safe and what is not safe. But by advising you, I can tell you that nope, this is perfectly safe. You'll have no worries. There is no petty crime for you to even worry about. The last myth is one that hits really close to home for me and my family, and that is the "I will do it next time" myth. Next time's not guaranteed. My father was going to do a trip with us to Europe, and something would always happen like, "Oh, I'll do it next time." Um, he passed away in September. Next time never got here. So if you think that I'll wait till next time to do this trip, don't wait, because what you're doing is you're waiting on an opportunity to make memories with your loved ones, so that you can. Uh, we're going to eventually go away, but your kids, their families, they're going to remember those experiences. So you need to take the time to do the trip, and don't wait until next time.